with my co-host Warhound here, and we're going to talk about for an hour about the stuff that's been going on in the world. And my first big announcement is, of course, something that I know Warhound's a little jealous of, and that is that I will be hosting Tom Luongo for 2 hours on, hopefully 2 hours, I'm not too sure, but at least an hour on Wednesday at 2 p.m. EST. He's agreed to sit down, and he and I will be talking Star Wars and narrative flow. So that's our big plan for this week.
Yeah, fuck you. like literally my wheelhouse, like fucking Star Wars. Like I can get into some of the most esoteric bullshit in Star Wars possible, and you're getting to sit down with Tom about it.
Yeah.
Like I hate you.
I know. It was I had just finished rewatching Solo, and I mentioned it to him on Twitter, on X, and said something to the effect of like, "This is my favorite Star Wars movie," and he's like, "It's a really good movie." I'm like, "Yeah," and I've been trying to get him on to talk about Canada and all the global stuff that's going on, and I'm like, "Screw it, why don't we talk about Star Wars?" And he's like, "I'm in."
Well, see, here's the funny part is the thing with narrative building is really fucking important, and a lot of people don't understand this. And I apologize for the baby sounds. But narrative building is a really important subject to actually get into and understand, because it actually ties into a lot of the stuff that we're seeing across the board right now. Like we have Thomas Massey, we have Tulsi Gabbard, we have Iran, we have Ukraine, we have Southeast Asia as a whole, Africa as a whole, et cetera, South America. You have all these different places and all these different events that are going on, and it's understanding narrative building is a really important freaking thing, because frankly speaking, all that is going on right now by the opposition to us, us being the pro-human faction versus the necromongers. Anybody who gets that reference is a friend of mine.
Yeah, I do get the reference.
But it's very much a case of all the necromonger types have is narrative. It's all narrative. There's no hard power except in some rare circumstances, like for example, one of the circumstances that I brought up earlier on when we were recording for the Warwolf podcast is Ben-Gvir launching a intelligence coup against Netanyahu because the U.S. makes a deal with Iran. Which is what I think, which is the one thing I think Netanyahu fears the most, is the ultra-nationalist wing of Israel deciding to just go full kilter. That's one of the main things that I think he fears, period, in a story. So in general, understanding narrative building is actually a really important fucking skill, because there are certain key things when it comes to narratives that once you start picking up on them, you realize really quickly, like, oh, this guy's complete bullshit.
Absolutely. It's a fiction and non-fiction writer myself. I can see how that works out very well.
Well, so I'll give you an example, actually. Right now, there's this whole narrative around Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard announced that she's resigning as the ODNI, or from the ODNI, effective June 30th, which across the board, for anybody who actually understands how this shit works, giving a notice of 30 to 45 days, that's a general handover. That's a, hey, I need to leave. I'm not going to be able to continue this job. I'm going to train and bring my replacement up to speed, and then I'm going to exit. Correct. General business / government / bureaucratic stuff. very generalistic, nothing special whatsoever. But you then have, Dan Davis and Carl McGregor and Scott Ritter and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I love how it's a bunch of commies and Duganites who are all out trying to say that this is, Tulsi Gabbard protesting against Trump for the war in Iraq. And it's like, okay, you guys are reaching so fucking hard, you esoteric pieces of shit. Take your eschatology and fucking stick it up your ass.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I look at the entire situation. I'm like, look, her husband's dying of like a very serious cancer, and she wants to be with him. Like, why do you have to make this into some sort of drama for your personal benefit? Just
I can answer
that her husband's dying of cancer. Jesus.
Well, David, I can answer that for you. It's because that's all Dugan is, for example. Dugan is, graft for the purposes of personal enrichment all across the board. That's why, the Europeans have been using him as the juxtaposition against Trump for fucking how long at this point in time? Or not Trump, sorry, Putin.
Against Putin, yeah.
Yeah. Because again, at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be surprised to find out. And I'm gonna throw this theory out there, and I the more I see, the more I hear, the more I believe this. I think he sacrificed his daughter.
Oh, okay.
I think he sold his daughter down the river for the purposes of gaining sympathy.
Family destroyers are a thing.
Yes. And one of the key reasons that I believe that is because this dude is so dead set on attacking the US, it's unfucking real. Mind you, the US had nothing to do. Like, if I'm a father and my daughter has been killed by some group of people, whoever that group of people is, I'm going to be targeting that group of people to the end of my days.
Absolutely.
It's either I'm dead or they're dead, period, in a story. That's just how I roll. That's how, and I imagine 99% of fathers would roll that way. Then you have this little douchebag who can't, for the life of him, at all fucking focus on Ukraine long enough to actually fucking make a difference. His constant focus is on the US. His constant focus is on Europe. And it's like, hey, dude, yeah, you can blame NATO, for example, because, we already established NATO is not associated with the US whatsoever. It's a completely separate organization at this point. But you cannot be like, oh, it's the, US this, US that, US this, US that, when it literally was a bunch of fucking Ukrainians and European cunts that blew your daughter up.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but at this point in time, it's either one of two options. Either he's a fucking op just in general, and they decided to fucking scare the shit out of him by killing his daughter, or he sold his fucking daughter down the river, and both options are perfectly fucking viable. And it's fucking disgusting to me.
I gotta say, I haven't really thought too much about Dugan since his daughter died. When all these people are like, Dugan's the mastermind behind Putin. I'm like, as far as I can tell, the first time Putin met with Dugan was when his daughter was killed.
Yeah. So what I do know is that Dugan's tied into the ultranationalist side of Russia. Similar. So across the board. So each nation, no nation's a monolith, period, in the story. Anybody who believes that nations are monoliths are retarded, or, you're talking about France, which then, okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. But the French not being considered in this equation, no nation is a monolith. And what you end up having is, like, say, for example, with China, we've discussed it previously, where, you have the bifurcation between the CCP and the PLA, and the CCP is very clearly trying to wrangle and rein in the PLA as much as possible.
Correct.
And in Russia and Israel actually share a similar issue, which culturally speaking makes sense. When you actually think about the demographics of, Israel, it's, 35% Russian. You then realize like they're very much in the similar circumstance where you have this heavy, it's not a large segment of the population, but it's a very heavily involved segment of the population that are incredibly ultra nationalist. And they are constantly causing problems for the regimes that are in power because they're constantly pushing these incredibly hyper aggressive policies and narratives across the board. And Dugin falls right into that crowd. Across, you just look at everything he's said, everything he's put out, he falls within that ultra nationalist wing. And in reality, if you listen to Dugin talk, listen to Ben-Gvir talk, and they're basically the same fucking person. It's kind of fucking sad. I should have actually brought this up on the episode we just recorded earlier because we did talk about Ben-Gvir quite a bit. But at the end of the day, why is this a problem? Well, it's these little splinter factions that can be exploited by outside forces. Similar to how here in the U.S., for example, you have the soy left. You got the woke right and the soy left. The soy left who are palling around in fucking Cuba and shit like that. They are very, very much an asset for outside forces. Well, for example, Hassan Piker getting hit with a fucking subpoena from the U.S. Treasury Department. Him.
Well, wait, I haven't heard that about.
Yeah. He got hit. He got hit with a fucking Treasury investigation. So my first question is, oh, Hassan, who the fuck did you give money to?
Yeah, right.
Like, Hassan, buddy, oh, you fucked up. And mind you, the Queen Handler herself, Ashley St. Clair, came out of the woodwork now. Apparently she's doinking Hassan now, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious. That is definitely a climb down from boinking with Elon Musk to have.
Yeah. It's quite a downgrade to say the least. But regardless, the fact of the matter is that what you end up seeing is that these factions within these different nations are pressure points that can be used against the ruling regimes. And we're now seeing, for example, in Cuba, the Europeans have started focusing very heavily on our negotiations with Cuba, which tells me that something's going to be happening. If you're not aware, have you heard of the YouTube channel Warfronts?
Which one?
Warfronts.
No, I haven't heard about that one, but
okay. So Warfronts, I use them as a European barometer.
Okay.
It's actually been quite effective, funny enough, to actually gauge where and what the Europeans are going to focus on hardcore. So, like, for example, Warfronts has done just exhausting amounts of coverage on Sudan, which then, you start looking into the situation and you realize, like, oh, the Europeans are attempting to gain control of Port Sudan and they're trying to get in there and trying to utilize the leverage of having control of Port Sudan in order to then start pushing leverage over the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea as a whole and so on and so forth. Which then, it's like, oh, okay, we see what you're doing. So there's a very, very, it's absolutely hilarious using a fucking YouTube channel as a way to start figuring out where the Europeans are focusing on hard. But they just did a video on Cuba talking about, you have Raul Castro, who
I can't believe these Castro people live forever.
Yeah, well, you have Raul Castro, who we just, the DOJ just issued a arrest warrant for. Well, supposedly, the Europeans are freaking out because we are negotiating with Raul's. I believe it's either his son or nephew. I forget what it is, but we're negotiating with him and some of the other guys in a roundabout fashion. We're basically ignoring the current administration in Cuba. The current administration in Cuba is basically cut out of the CIA negotiations, which then raises some questions. It's like, okay, why are we skipping out on the current administration? Well, then you start looking into it. Like, for example, the current president of Cuba is, it was handpicked by the Castros. And then you start looking into, the son's kind of always, or the Castro Jr. I'll call him Castro Jr. just for the sake of this. Castro Jr. has kind of been just a little bit on the sideline. He's not really been heavily involved. He's more of a business side of things than anything. And so it's like, okay. And then, the Europeans, when we started looking at the narrative from the video, the narrative centered very heavily over the fact that, the US blockade has, created these massive resource shortages and so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. And then it's like, all right, so you guys are going for the feel goods on this one. You don't have any cards to play. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Easy win for us.
Yeah, no, I do believe we'll have the Cuba resolved pretty quickly. I do know that Russians are bringing in the bare minimum oil just to keep the hospitals lights on, and that seems to be some sort of deal worked out with the Trump administration.
Actually, funny enough, just to comment on that, because that was one of the lies that they spun. Now they obfuscated by not even mentioning the Russians. So, but it was a lie by omission. But they didn't even bring up the fact that the Russians are bringing in a bare minimum level of oil supplies to keep, the critical infrastructure online. Which, it's like, oh, you don't want to give any good airtime to the Russians whatsoever.
Yeah, but it does help out for Russian just domestic consumption. That we're still supporting our old ally Cuba. So I don't know. You ever heard the joke? Who was the number one person who brought down the fall of the Soviet Union?
I'm not sure. I know what you're talking about.
Number one person who brought down the fall of the Soviet Union was Fidel Castro. 3 billion rubles a year.
Yeah.
Forcing them to buy their sugar crop every year, even though Russia didn't need, or the Soviet Union didn't need it.
But sorry. But no, like, and that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, you look at the narrative. You look at the narrative that's being put out there. And, like, for example, the Europeans, they're like, oh shit, yeah, we fucked up the whole, as soon as we put a pause on the sanctions on Russian oil, all of a sudden the Europeans are like, oh, we made mistakes. Interesting. The Europeans are sitting there, they're constantly trying to figure out, like, are you aware of current fuel prices in Europe?
Which prices?
Fuel prices.
Oh, I haven't looked at that in a while. But definitely
they're double, if not triple, what they were pre-Iran. And it's really interesting that they're now pivoting to try to convince the Russians to sell shit to them. And it's like, interesting. It's almost like you were really, really relying on Iran. like
Yep.
really fucking relying on Iran, which then brings into question, again, is that why they didn't want to participate in operations? And did Trump end up exposing that as part of this whole thing? Is it a case of, oh, you didn't want to participate because you couldn't participate because you were the ones running oil out of fucking Iran?
Yeah. And when it comes down to, and it's driving certainly the narrative against NATO, saying, hey, we can't trust these guys. When I have Ari Fleischer on my X feed, George W. Bush's first press secretary, saying, we need to get out of NATO because these people can't be trusted. I'm like, holy crap, what world am I living in?
Oh, there you go. Well, and that's the thing too, is that we are seeing a incredible number of changes, and we're talking in general. We're talking about an incredible number of changes in general to understand that Europe is a fucking problem. They are the menace of the world. And they're going to utilize, the European heritage types here in the US to try to fucking cause problems now, because now they're like, shit, fuck, deploy the Crusaders, shit like that.
Yep.
And it's really funny from my perspective that we've reached this point where, when, and I'll just speak personally from my perspective. I've been on the British thing for years now, like going all the way back to high school, really.
Really?
Okay. Like I've never, because here's the thing is I just couldn't get it. There was a thing in the back of my head, just, there was something I was noticing. I'm noticing. He's noticing. Anyways.
Are you noticing something in Warhound?
Yeah, I think I'm noticing. Sorry, the jokes are they write themselves. Mm-hmm. But I was noticing a trend with certain things, and it had to do with, just different everyday things. It was, the mentality of the Europeans. It was the actions that were being taken, like for example, Syria, just all the different little things that the Europeans were doing, that it just put and the Brits in particular, it put a very, very distinct something ain't right here in my head, and I never shook it. Period in a story, just never shook it. And eventually it got to the point where it was like, okay, at this point in time, like I don't think I can trust any European whatsoever. And I've been very hesitant to interface with Europeans over the years because of it. Now, you'll find the good one every so often on the internet, and it's like, okay, cool, he's a decent dude. And it keeps you grounded. You don't end up, pulling a Dugan and just hating an entire group of people because, you think you know better than everybody else. Or Ben Gavir, it's almost like they're the same people. But then when I started watching Tom full time, and this would have been 2021, roughly.
Okay.
2021, 2022, somewhere in that region. It's been like 4 or 5 years now. When I started seeking out his stuff, because I remember watching a video, and I do not remember who it was with, by the way. I cannot tell you who it was with, but I remember watching a video with him as the guest. And I don't know why I ended up on this video, by the way. Like, I don't have any fucking clues.
I still don't recall when I first encountered Tom on a video. I do recall when I first encountered him on a blog, but Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's the Duran. Had to be the Duran.
It possibly could have been the Duran, but I don't see. Here's the thing: is I knew about the Duran after Tom because I encountered Tom in, again, it was like 2021, 2022, and then I encountered the Duran shortly after Ukraine started. So, you know, but I know I definitely started watching Tom before that. And it was, I would catch it. I caught this one video. I just remember, caught this random video, watched it. I was like, hey, this guy sounds like he knows what he's fucking talking about. So I started trying to catch videos, and you know, for a while it was kind of like catch one here, catch one there, you know, so on and so forth. But then after I caught him on the Duran, and they actually like, and this was I don't remember what it was exactly, but they pointed something out, and Tom like immediately went into a fucking tism moment and started fucking just going down the line. And I was like, I really need to focus on this guy, because this guy, like, because he connected dots that I had not been able to connect. He gave me details, and I'm like, oh my god, like, holy shit. And I was able to figure out some things that I was seeing on a personal basis, and I was like, holy shit, oh my god, thank god I didn't go in the military. Because yeah, it would have been a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
But then I started watching him full time, and he taught me how to read candlesticks, and he taught me how to read fucking charts properly, and he taught me this and taught me that, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. I'll be honest, I owe the guy a lot from a secondary, you know, just knowledge standpoint. But what you end up having is understanding.
Sorry, don't worry about that. I was going through my phone and something came up.
No, you're good. But understanding the European connection and the British connection and all that, you know, it's been there, and it's horrendous that it's taken this long. And it's only been more exposed as Promethean Action has been doing their thing. Like those, like, oh god, fucking Susan and Barbara, love them. By the way, did you see that Susan and Barbara were on Crypto Rich together?
No, I haven't watched that particular episode.
Fucking watch it. It was great.
That Susan got on Valuetainment, that was something.
Valuetainment, really?
Yeah, she was on with Patrick Bet David about a week ago.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I can see why you've been dodging my email.
But no, and that's the thing is, like, the fact of the matter is being able to realize these connections and put these connections together, it's creating a situation where it's like, yeah, unfortunately, there's an entire group of people in the fucking world that are the problem, but, you know, they want us to blame the Jews. Yeah. And it's like, I wish it was the Jews. I wish it was that easy. Unfortunately, it's like 15 groups of people, and they all speak different languages. Which makes it really fucking hard to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Now, remember, everybody, if they're French, you know, just I can't say that live. Never mind. Anyways, but no, it's astounding, really. Like the more we find out, like, for example, you know, when you know, you got Peter Schiff, fucking shyster McGee himself. I don't know who's worse, Peter Schiff or Robert Barnes. Which one do you think is worse?
I'm going with Peter Schiff because I've never really liked him. Barnes, I've had a few encounters. He once retweeted something for my stuff, so I'll give Schiff, because Barnes continually at least tries to expand his knowledge base, and Schiff is all about like gold. Done.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Nothing matters but gold. He is definitely a
Okay.
gold
Well,
player.
first off, you don't want to hear my opinion on Barnes then. But no,
Some of your opinion on Barnes. I'm okay with it. I'm just like,
yeah, no, I don't want to get that vulgar right now.
mm,
I'm trying not to piss myself off.
mm,
But with Schiff, it's hilarious because his focus on gold, he doesn't see he doesn't see the forest for the trees to save his life.
yeah,
And one of the things that it's like, oh, bond rates going this high is a signal that everything is falling apart, yada 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 yada. And I'm like, motherfucker, who moved the most fucking bonds this month or last? No, not last month. The month before, back in March. Who moved?
USA.
It was ridiculous. No, the fucking Turks.
Oh, of course.
The
Erdogan, I should
the
have
March
known.
data that came out of Turkey, they sold off, they unloaded bonds so goddamn hard it was unfucking real, and they sold off, it was like 90% of their gold just to try to stabilize lira. And guess what? It didn't work. It didn't even fucking work. They're still fucking hemorrhaging. So it's like, excuse me, like, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn rat's ass what you have to say at this point in time, Schiff. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yep.
You're speaking into the fucking gold bug echo chamber, and that's all who you're talking to. And frankly speaking, it's absolutely hilarious. And I wish there was a way to fucking, just be like, here, let me fucking pop into the fucking Matrix, fucking pull up a chair and some popcorn and watch fucking Peter Schiff sitting there running around the room, fucking connecting the string of yarn across all the walls and shit. Like, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah.
And then you go and you start really getting into, like, for example, again, the Europeans, they're buying up fucking they're buying US bonds like a motherfucker. Because they're desperate to shore up their own fucking accounts, but the problem is that they're over leveraging themselves on bonds. They're trying to defend shit and they can't defend it. Is Lagarde still trying to hold the fucking German tenure down, or is she fucking given up on that yet?
She's still doing it.
Of course she is.
The last market report. I'll have to send you a copy.
God damn it! Oh, Jesus Christ! It's fucking hilarious. Like, and that's the whole point. Is like, all these people are like, oh, the US 10-year and 30-year and all that, and it's like, motherfucker. Y'all motherfuckers are fucking floundering over there and you can't fucking do anything about it. We're sitting over here generating fucking, like, we're literally generating ourselves out of debt and you guys can't fucking manage. Like, we're currently building ourselves a huge fucking chunk of our deficit away. And we're selling gold concentrates to the fucking Chinese in order to pay down that shit. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Oh yeah, one of our largest was this past quarter. I think it was the second. No, it was either second or first. I can't remember the report exactly, but either our first or second largest export was gold concentrates going to China. Mind you, do you know why concentrates is important?
Not real. I'm a history guy, not the finance guy.
So concentrates are non-monetary gold.
Oh, okay.
So you have monetary gold, which is gold that has hit the refineries and hit the banks, and then you have non-monetary gold, which is the gold concentrates that have, technically speaking, there's non-monetary gold that's hit the refineries, but that's kind of the overall metric is that non-monetary gold is gold that hasn't hit the refineries yet, meaning it's gold concentrate.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. So, but that's one of our largest exports to fucking China. And it's like, oh shit, we're paying the fucking deficit off. we're whole like it instantly created a situation where it's like, oh fuck, there's going to be how much of the deficit are we paying off through gold sales to China? Then it raises a question. It's like, wait, if all of a sudden the deficit drops by like 500 billion, halfway through the year, like what the fuck are these people going to do? Like I am fucking ready for June, July, when we start getting some of the 6-month data, and it's going to be like, oh shit, like the deficit dropped by 500 billion or a trillion or whatever, because we've been paying it off and we've been we've been building our way out of debt and shit like that, and it's just going to be hilarious. And that's the other thing, is that I follow this channel on YouTube called Mountain Baker Mining and Metals. Great channel, by the way. Love Jason. Great dude. I think he's a fantastic individual. I'd love to meet him. I actually plan on buying one of his turnkey systems, specifically for use for ECBs.
Okay.
My dad owns a computer repair shop. Yep. And one of the things that we don't have a lot of in the state of Ohio is electronic salvaging. So I'm like, oh shit, okay. What's the startup cost? $25,000. Okay, well maybe we can make something work in here in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but Mount Baker, you could pick up a few things about the market from him when he's in his videos. Like he'll talk about market things sometimes, and he's just talking. He's just explaining things. Like he's not like actually like hardcore focused on it. He's explaining things about mining, and he'll go into oh hey, in order for this to be profitable, the price has to be this or this, that, and so on and so forth. And one of the things I picked up is that, yeah, there's a shit ton of gold moving right now, a metric fuck ton of gold moving at the current rate.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I bought gold at $1,800 an ounce.
Oh, dude, I did $20,000 an ounce gold is going to happen. I guarantee it at this point in time. Which, by the way, just pointing this out because this is another fucking bit of news. The U.S. government's, the Treasury is looking to revalue its gold, because currently the U.S. government values its gold around like $43 an ounce.
Yeah, that's total bullshit. You're telling me? Yeah, I understand that. They need to raise that. I just blows my mind that they're trying to say it's only $43 an ounce. And I'm selling mine at $4,000. What?
Well, that's the thing, is that's the whole side of monetary gold. That's the whole monetary gold side. But that's the point, though, is that if they revalue to 2,000 an ounce, brother,
you would have your national debt.
The national debt would literally disappear.
Yeah.
It would disappear instantly.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. There you go, gold bugs. There you go.
Be happy. You bought it at the right time, or whenever you bought it.
They wouldn't be happy. They'd be pissed. Because then all of a sudden, what does Peter Schiff talk about? What does Peter Schiff make his money on?
I don't know, toilet paper and Puerto Rico. He can make his money that way, as I recall listening to once on Tom Woods.
But no, like that's the thing, is like at the end of the day, did you say Tom Woods?
Yeah, I did. I've been
looking. Okay, are we talking the Tom?
My intro to libertarianism.
Are we talking Tom Woods, the actor?
No, the podcaster, libertarian podcaster. He has his own.
Okay. Sorry, I'm like, wait, okay. Does Tom Woods have a podcast that I don't know about? The reason why I asked is because I love watching poker videos. And every so often Tom Woods will be in there.
Yeah. Uh, Tom Luongo once interviewed him on his podcast. It was pretty good, but the latest market report, Luongo is like, Tom Woods is an idiot," and I'm like, he's not an idiot. He just doesn't understand art. He's a couple rounds down the dimensional ladder than we are.
Oh, he's definitely
I've been working on a theory of like different levels into the conspiracy level zone. And the first conspiracy level is baseline people are zeros. They don't have any idea what's going on. The first degree is, you get the Megyn Kellys of the world. The politically active people finally got into the situation where they're like, oh, something's going on here, but it's not exactly clear. The twos, I'm still trying to define them well, but I think Rich Barris is definitely a 2. Threes, Barnes is a 3. He dipped into the 4 zone, but Crypto Rich is another 3. Then 4s are people like you, me, and Tom Luongo, where we dropped into the other side, and we have enough knowledge to know what's going on, but it's hard to translate to the 3, 2s, and 1s what's going on in the world. And the 5s are the Walking Phoenix and Dave Collins, who are going down into the incredibly deep, dark crap that's going on in the world. Mm-hmm. And then 6, you're into the conspiracy. You are Steve Bann. You are Jeffrey Epstein. You are.
Oh yeah, the 6, as I said last time, the 6s are the people who dove into the abyss. The 5s are the ones that looked into the abyss. And then the 4s are the ones. The 4s are the ones that are having the picnic and are just looking over at the 5s and 6s that are just like, all right, you guys are fucking retarded. Anyways. Yeah. And here's the fun part is, so you say it's difficult to translate what we know to the 3s, 2s, and 1s. And it's difficult to translate to the 3s. The 2s and 1s, they're actually easier to talk to.
Yeah, I agree.
The 3s, they know enough to know something's happening, but they don't know enough in order to be able to fucking conceptualize it. Whereas to a 2 and a 1, like, say, for example, my brother, me and him got into this big old fucking argument. I was actually in Cambridge at the time, visiting my dad, and me and my girlfriend had gone out to dinner, dropped the baby off with my dad. And my brother calls me right before we're getting, we're finishing up food and we're getting ready to leave and so on and so forth. He calls me and we get into this argument outside. I'm on the phone outside the restaurant, and we get into this argument because of the whole Renee Good, and I don't even remember the other fuckhead's name that got shot by ICE. He got shot by Border Patrol. Never mind. But we got into an argument about it. And I was like, yo, bro, like, do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know this? And he constantly wanted to go back to these different points. And I'm like, no, this happened, this happened, this happened. This is this, this is this, this is this. Mm-hmm. And I would say my brother is definitely a 2. Yeah. Like when it comes down to it, he's definitely a 2. And he constantly was just challenging me on different things, because it was like, okay, but what about this? Or what about this? Or what about this? 2s are most commonly associated with whataboutism.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Tyler, look, you understand, like, I'm like, first off, I'm not backing down on you. for first and foremost. And I love you, kid, but you need to know what the fuck is going on versus what the fuck you're being told by other people who want you to believe something because they think you're, going to be a good little foot soldier for them. And eventually, it gets to the point where it's like, look, dude, like you're biting into something that you don't know what you're talking about. You think you know something, but you don't realize that the issue at hand is a lot fucking bigger. And again, it makes it easier to talk to the ones and twos because again, the ones and twos, they can conceptualize that there's something bigger. They don't know exactly that there's something bigger, but they can conceptualize that something's bigger. Whereas the threes, they know something's bigger, but they can't conceptualize just how fucking big it is.
Right.
When you got Susan Kokenda, for example, fucking blowing minds across the board. Like that woman is fucking annihilating people's fucking abilities to think because they're like, okay, wait a minute. So this, and this is happening on top of that. And on top of all of that, we're rewriting the entire financial system. Like the threes can't fathom it. Whereas the ones and twos, like, especially, like, again, talking to my brother, this was probably a couple weeks ago now. I straight up told him, like, hey, you do realize that right now we're targeting the banking system, and you're bitching because you can't get this one business loan, and the reason why you can't get that business loan is because of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
And he's like, what does Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have to do with this? I'm like, Tyler, in order to access capital, the capital has to not be restrained. Well, right now, the biggest source of capital in the entire world is restrained because Obama decided to put it in conservatorship and create the worst possible fucking economic conditions the U.S. has ever been under. And because of the rules that govern Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, those same rules translate over to other avenues of getting capital. So, and he understands that. Like, actually, I railed that shit into his head, and he was like, so that's why it took me so long to get a fucking house loan. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like you realize you weren't able to get your house loan until you were basically working yourself to death, and you had the taxes to back it up. Which then he realized, he's like, is that what, like, oh fuck, that's why they told me I couldn't apply for the loan when I did. I had to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yep, there you go. Means you didn't have two consecutive years of taxes available at the time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to one day hopefully talking to Susan and Barbara about some stuff, because I come from a certain world, and my political mentor was Jerry Purnell, who was a science fiction writer, and he was definitely adjacent to them.
Oh, that's the funny part, is that the more I listen to them, the more I kind of work through things in general. And the more I realize that I definitely would have been part of their camp back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, just economically in general, like, because because of my views on economics in general, and I say this in general, I fuse private and public very heavily in such a way that, like, for example, like when I started talking to my dad about some business stuff, about the firearms company that me and him want to start. One of the things that I straight up said, it's like, I want to literally be able to say, hey, police officers, here's a great little fucking thing for you. And hey, civilians, here you go.
Yes.
Hey, I apologize. I need to take a phone call real quick.
No problem. I'll just expound a little bit on Jerry Purnell. He's a science fiction writer. He wrote a bunch of different books back in the 70s and 80s and 90s and the future. He wrote the Co-Dominion series, which I really loved. Falcon's Legion. Had a situation what happened where he was heavily tied into the incoming Reagan administration, and of course, Susan Kinder and Barbara were coming along with Lyndon LaRouche. But at one point, apparently, a rumor spread that Jerry Pournelle was going to be Reagan's nominee for the head of NASA. And the people who were running NASA freaked out and were getting ready to threatening to jump off the roofs of the top of the building if he was appointed. And he's like, I don't know why these people thought I was in the running for this job, but yeah, that's something that happened. It was relayed to me. And as much as I think NASA, he would have been a great NASA administrator, we wouldn't have had footfall. We might have had footfall, but we wouldn't have some of the great science fiction books that I read today. That's led me here to this position today, to be talking to you guys on the internet about it. So, or
I apologize for that.
No problem. Hey, I was talking up Jerry Pournelle. Do every so often.
Yeah, no, sorry. That was my mom. My stepdad's back in the hospital. He unfortunately he had a love of alcohol that was a little too strong. He fucking cooked his liver, and so now he's been in and out of the hospital for over the past year or so.
Yeah, it happens. So
happens a lot more often than people want to admit, but it's
true. And
it's one of those.
If your big problem is alcohol or smoking, that's not the worst way to die.
Shut up.
My aunt died in probably one of the worst ways to die.
So
she had ALS.
Oh God, fuck, shit. Yeah, no, that is a bad one. That's a bad one.
Yeah. Made atheists of most of my cousins.
But to get back on track, the whole thing being is, you're absolutely right. Like the talking to the threes is fucking horrendous. Yep. Talking to the ones and twos, that's easy. Talking to the fives as a four, because here's the funny part is that the fours are sitting in that middle ground where we know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
We see it all. We have a good understanding. And the fives are so deep into it that they're fucking lost in the sauce across the board. And it's like, okay, dudes, I get it. Like, you're finding some very esoteric fucking information every so often that's, a little bit on the nose. And it's like, oh, wow. Okay. But at the same time, like Dave Collum, like I want to like the guy, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you annoy the shit out of me. Like I've got the fucking bald ones pulled up on fucking on my other tab right now. And I just know that, at some point in time in this, James and Tom are going to have a really nice exchange, and then Dave's going to come in from left field with some retarded ass shit. And it's just like, fuck.
Yeah. I had definitely last week on Tommy's podcast, Dave was there, and I don't, maybe it was Joaquin, but there was someone else.
Yeah.
No, it was Dave. Joaquin. It was the guy from Vegas.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. And the two of them were going down into this deep rabbit hole of like the Defense Intelligence Agency killed Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, whoa, dudes, I don't think this is that complicated. But they were in there. I was like, okay, you've gone down.
Well, and that's the thing is like, and that gets into the sixes, and that's the problem is that the sixes, that's the anti-Israel crowd. That's the anti-American crowd. That's the, anti-Chinese crowd. It's the crowd that, Laura Loomer, Steve
Yep.
Bannon, fucking Candace Owens, et cetera, and most of them are ops. Fucking we know Steve Bannon works for the fucking Euros. We know Candace works for the Euros.
Mhm.
We know that fucking Steve Bannon, or not Steve Bannon, sorry, Laura Loomer. We know Laura Loomer's working for somebody. We don't know who yet, but it's very clear she's working for somebody.
I think she's working on her. Israel, I just have to hit the head. I'll be right back. You can hear the show for a moment.
Yeah, no. But it's so clear that all of it, like the sixes across the board, and that's what makes the fives redeemable and the sixes irredeemable. Is that you can't like they all fucking work for somebody, like every single fucking one of them. There's not a single one that doesn't at this point in time, which makes it very unfortunate because, well, shitty people are shitty. Do.
Well, I'm back at least here.
All good.
Okay.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, no, fucking Tom and I refer to him as the 26ers.
Yep.
The 26ers as a whole, like at this point in time, there hasn't, like, they've all been building for the past fucking 10 plus years. They're the crew that got overshadowed by the 16ers. So, Bannon, Owens, Loomer, and all those types overshadowed the 26ers. And now the 26ers, because they were the ones actually doing the grunt work, they were actually doing the studying, they were actually doing the true analysis. They've completely overtaken all these people. And at this point in time, it's like, nah, like there's no better group to be learning from at this juncture, period. Yeah. But, oh God.
I mean, EM can be a little esoteric, but every so often with this correct.
Okay, so here's the thing with EM. Yes, he's incredibly esoteric. Incredibly so.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with EM. He's a 50-50. So Tom, for example, is an 80-20. Hits 80% of his shots. In the case of EM, he's a 50-50. He hits 50% of his shots. Now, the 50 he miss, generally speaking, that 50% is from the more extreme esoteric things that he's put out there. And it's usually, it was a glancing blow kind of deal where it's like, hey, you were aiming right, but you missed the target just by a bit. Then you've got like Clay Martin, for example, who is a 20-80. Every so often he gets a good point in, but 80% of the time he's fucking off base completely. And it's hilarious to see that you see the difference between somebody who actually knows what the fuck is going on with EM Burlingame versus Clay Martin, who has no fucking clue.
Hmm.
Like Clay is so lost in the fucking, anti-Israel bullshit. It's unfucking real. It's hilarious.
I haven't seen. I don't think I've encountered Clay Martin yet, but I'm just double checking.
He's been on Tommy's podcast with EM before.
Ah,
yeah. And the problem with Clay is that again, mind you, Clay hasn't been on. I haven't seen Clay on a podcast in a while, so I'm like, did something fucking happen or something? Because at first it seemed like EM was going to be trying to bring him along a little bit, and that doesn't seem.
No, I've read his book, so I know who Clay is now.
I refuse to read his book because I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not a pagan faggot. Anyways,
yeah, no, we are definitely talking about the same guy. Because I encountered him completely separate of the podcast space and read the book, and I'm like, this is some weird, really screwed up shit.
Oh no, I encountered him through Twitter. That's where I first learned about him. And it's funny because he blocked me now because I keep fucking challenging him on shit and he doesn't fucking like it.
Okay. Yeah.
He does not. God damn it.
Yeah, no, I was reading those Kelly Turnbull novels we were talking about earlier on your podcast, and I think he came up in my feed, and I read his first book, and I'm like, whoa! And he's like a survivalist, and he then wrote this one novel, the Wendigo book, Up Out of a Fever Dream, which was interesting, but I'm like, I don't think that's what's going on here.
Okay, sorry. I apologize. I don't know what I had stuck in my throat, but I had something stuck in my throat. Ow. No, here's the thing with Clay Martin is it's very clear he falls within the Ascawanda crowd. Ascawanda. Is that how you say it? That shit that the fucking Siberian Americans like to smoke. Ayahuasca, thank you. My girlfriend knew it. But he definitely falls within the ayahuasca crowd. When it comes to his writing, it's so like I've refused to buy any of his books or actually like fully dive into his shit because it's like, dude, you know what? I might be a secular Christian, but I'm way too fucking in tune with life to fucking to be bothered to read this shit.
Yeah.
I like living.
Yeah, no. In the book, he does have a scene where some of the roster, they have to flamethrower a lot of people that you and I don't like because they're infected with some bioweapon.
Well, and that's the fucked up part. That's the fucked up situation with it is the overarching thing across the board is just absolutely fucking insane. Like again, it's the 6s and the 5s. They're weird types. Let's say it like that. They're weird fucking types. I can't comment on them to be completely frank because it's just like you're so lost, bro.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I can't put it any other way other than that. It's just like it stuns me every time I see them talk.
Yeah.
Like Dave Cullum, I'll just bring him up again. I listen to some of the shit he gets into, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, are you fucking pumping yourself with the good shit your wife's getting from the doc? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. It's like to believe what you're trying to tell me. I can't believe this guy ended up on Tucker. Well, maybe I do believe after the last Tucker episode, and I would actually yelled at. Well, I didn't yell at Rich, but I said, Rich, you need to tell Tucker this guy he had on yesterday is the complete and total fraud. This guy said the British sank the Lusitania to bring the United States into World War One using an Enigma machine that they had cracked. And then the very first Enigma was built in 1918.
Oh.
It's like, dude, you can't even survive. You're bringing on nut jobs who can't even give me a basic history.
Who were you watching?
Survive a Wikipedia search.
Who did you or who were you watching?
I'll look his name up, but this 10 minutes in, I'm like, I know more history than this.
No, whose show was this?
It was a Tucker Carlson episode.
Oh gee, was it that little fucking? Oh god, I think it was that little dork with glasses. If I'm correct.
I'm looking it up now because it was just like, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but the whole Lusitania, like anybody who actually understands the whole Lusitania situation knows. Okay, one, it was the Germans that sank the fucking bitch, but they sank it with good fucking reason, and then. Yeah. And then the dumbasses in the US who want to play this, oh, we jumped in the motherfucker, we got into the war a year later because of another event, and I forget what that it was that the fuck, what was that? What was the Lusitania wasn't even the reason why we got into the war. The Lusitania just became a fucking rallying cry. Wasn't actually the reason we got into it.
The economist named Richard Werner. I've never heard of this guy before. Tucker basically brought him on and he said, oh yeah, watch his previous episode to know his history. I'm like, dude, this is not how you introduce a podcast. You bring someone on, you give the basics feel. You know, when I'm going to have Tom on, I'll be like, this is a geopolitics. He's a geopolitics expert, but with all the thing we're talking about in the world, we're going to talk about Star Wars or something like that. He just like brought this guy on. He didn't even introduce him or his background. He just assumed we would know. I would know. I'm like, I haven't watched this guy before. And then he starts talking about stuff that never happened.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Again, and that's the other thing is that, and mind you, those are the graft. Those are the graft. Those are the cunts that come in and they're just there to create fucking. They're just there to spin narrative and shit. That's all. It's all it is. And what's funny is that, you know, because and here's the great part is because it's on Tucker Carlson. I thought you were talking about somebody else. I'm thinking of that guy that was like, oh, Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy.
Oh, you mean Marta Maid?
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of initially. But the whole situation with that right there is it tells me multiple things. Like, okay, wait. So this dude comes on, says some of the dumbest shit possible about the British on Tucker Carlson's podcast. Gets it completely wrong. Doesn't even actually fucking like use basic fucking knowledge.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, you dirty little fucking op. Because to me, that's like, oh, hey, he's lying on purpose in order to obfuscate for the Brits. That's where my mind goes.
I wish that were what I was seeing there. This was just like,
oh no. I wish it was just. I wish I could just see it from your perspective, where he's just a retard. But the problem is I can't, because I'm sorry, I saw what they did to Theresa May.
True.
I saw what they did to Theresa May. Like I'm not fucking able to sit there and be like, oh, you know, these people are just idiots. No, they're not freaking idiots. They're not idiots by any fucking metric. I wish
Like,
and what really cements that for me personally speaking is actually really funny. If you look at the situation with Europe in general, with the um, whole migrant crisis, these motherfuckers knew exactly what they were doing. Like this wasn't some random event that happened in an unprecedented scale, and they had no way to compensate for it. No, it was on purpose.
yeah.
This is something that I've been, because the narrative, like, oh, Viktor Orban wanted to not have to deal with it, so he let all these people into Austria. Okay, cool, great narrative. Here's the problem with it. The EU had told Hungary that they were going to give them resources and money in order to handle the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The EU never did it.
Right.
And then after it started draining the Hungarian economy to try to accommodate all these people, that's when they were let through. And then you started the whole program of shifting these people around across the entire union. You didn't try to consolidate them into one place like you would normally do with refugees, by the way. You started shifting them around all over. Mm-hmm. And then you start looking into, this, that, and the other, and the Pakistani stories in the UK are what really give it away.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of like, oh yeah, no, you guys plan this. And mind you, everybody who's like, oh, they're trying to use them to exterminate, the European population. No. They're trying to force the European population into the higher skilled jobs. And then all of the brown people are supposed to work the menial jobs. The same thing that they've been trying to do here in the US for the past fucking 50 years.
Yep.
They wanted
so often, I just want to think they're so just dumb. And then we have to confront the fact they're just evil.
Oh yeah, no, that's the whole thing. Is like these people literally are like, oh, they're idiots and they don't know what they're doing. No, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. You're just fucking too gullible.
In my particular case, I'm hopeful, but not gullible.
But that's just, that's just me, I guess.
No problem. No, for me, it's like, look, I really wish it's just these guys are criminal asshole scum, but every so often, it's Grand Moff Tarkin saying, this system's Alderaan's too remote for us. Tatooine's too remote. Let's blow up Alderaan. Joke's asking us, is E.M. Burlam a 5 or a 6? My baseline personally is a 5. What about you, Warhound?
Huh?
So our commenter in the chat is yours.
Oh yeah, sorry, I clicked over to another tab real quick. I was reading something.
Okay.
EM is definitely a 5.
Yeah,
definitely a 5. He's not a 6. He's not. So Clay Martin is a 6. He dove into the abyss.
Okay.
EM is staring into the abyss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6s for me are mostly people who are in the conspiracy at some level.
Oh yeah, right? No, 6 is for the people that are so lost in the sauce that they're literally there's no saving them, or they are part of the whole problem.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon's definitely a 6. Epstein's a 6. All these people most people are at that level are 6s. Trump might be a 5 or a 6. Sevens are literally the Rothschilds. That's how I look at that one. I'm like, and then 8, it's space aliens or demons. So that's how I look at it. There's 2 levels beyond the 6 degrees, but most of us human beings are going to deal with 1 through 6. And the zeros. The zeros are the people, the comfortable normies, who are going to argue about sports scores at the local bar.
See, and here's the thing is that the unfortunate fact that there are so many people that have gotten lost in the sauce because of the different ops that the sixes have put into place.
Right.
Like the whole Epstein thing. Like at this point in time, you know, the only people that caught bullets from the Epstein files were Europeans. And you know, people are still they're still seeking out blood. Like they're still like we're talking they had to start prosecuting people in Europe because of how bad the exposure was.
Mm-hmm.
And literally here in the US, for example, like very few people were really exposed. Like
in America, most of the people who have been exposed have been at worst fired or removed from jobs.
well,
People have been
no. The people court. Well, that's the thing though, is that the people who have been exposed the most have been like, oh, you know, they like hookers, like Bill Gates, for example. Yeah. Like, oh, he has a thing for Russians. Got it. Okay. You know, Bill Clinton has a thing for you put a fucking woman in front of him, he wants to shag it. Mm-hmm. You know, shit, fuck, am I Bill Gates? Sorry, my girl. Sorry.
Yeah. One of the.
No. I turned. My girlfriend's sitting behind me. I had to make the joke. I had to make the joke.
Yeah, of course you did. Look, as I was explaining to a friend of mine who's Jewish and very anti-conspiracy because old conspiracies in his mind always land on the Jews. But I said to him, like, look, Epstein was. Do you think Heidi Fleiss is a pederast? And he's like, no. And I'm like, look, as far as I can tell, the worst things about Epstein related stuff is that he was a he was a pimp for rich dudes.
Well, now, so here's
more to him than that, but to my friend, that's what I said to him.
Well, and here's the thing about Epstein. And this is why I don't get into the whole Epstein thing. And like my brother, he's like, you act like you don't care about it. And I'm like, because I fucking don't. Like at the end of the fucking day, like it literally comes down to 2 things. One, Ghislaine was obviously fucking doing some hinky shit, very obviously. And generally speaking, it was through the modeling agencies that she was tied into. You gotta realize she's a fucking British socialite. She's running around with the fucking royal family and shit like that. Like this chick is so high in British society, it's unfucking real. Oh, by the way, her father was one of the foundational fucking members of the modern MI5. Like, come on, like. Let's not kid ourselves here. The simple fact is that there was some hinky shit going on, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm also going to point this out, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear this. How many of these girls were there willingly?
Sorry, what was that?
I said, how many of these girls were there willingly?
Yeah, I think a lot of them were.
Well, and that's the point, unfortunately, because it's like, I'm sorry, but a lot of you refuse to either make yourselves known or you put yourselves out there incredibly so to try to get paid. And you're constantly, you know, you're constantly angling. Like there's no There's no just in general, we want to see people prosecuted. No, there's always an angle to you people.
Yep.
And at the end of the fucking day, I'm sorry, but some 16-year-old gets told, hey, by the way, you do this, you're going to get paid like 50 grand. Some 16-year-old chick is going to be like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, Michael Tracy's, for all the people who hate him, for all the different reasons they hate him, has been very instrumental in exposing that particular angle.
Oh, I just think Michael Tracy's a fucking retard. But yeah, he hasn't what I need people to understand, and this is a very important part of this whole dynamic, is that the whole they're drinking baby's blood and adrenochrome and shit like that. It's like that was spun up by idiots like Alex Jones.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, Alex Jones is owned by the fucking Europeans. Like this motherfucker has outed himself so fucking hard over the past 2 years. It's unfucking real. By the way, this is the same guy that tried convincing everybody that fucking, there's some fucking voodoo witchcraft going on at the fucking Bass Pro Shop in fucking Memphis. Like, come on.
Do it on a Calabras.
Well, no, seriously. Like he was one of the main guys that spun up the whole Bass Pro Shop pyramid fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, are you not aware of this?
No, I have not.
Oh yeah, no. There's this whole so about the Bass Pro Shop in Memphis, Tennessee, that is built that's inside of this massive pyramid structure.
No, I'm not. This is the first.
Oh shit. Okay. Look it up. And Joe, I agree with you. Laura, I don't think she's working purely for the Israelis, but I think she's working.
Yeah, it has to have a City of London connection, at least.
Oh, I think she's an MI6 Mossad connection. But no, so look it up. So Memphis, Tennessee, there is a Bass Pro Shop that's built in this structure that is a pyramid. Mm-hmm. The pyramid was originally constructed to house a Hard Rock Cafe. But then the Hard Rock Cafe never fucking happened. And Bass Pro Shop bought the fucking building. But there's this whole thing about the top of the pyramid where the architect who or somebody related to the construction, I forget if it was the architect or if it was like the previous owner or whatever, they had like a time capsule at the top of the pyramid. And so there was this whole conspiracy about the fucking pyramid and all this other bullshit for years back in the 90s.
Okay.
And the early 2000s. And fucking Alex Jones is one of the main fucking people that was pushing it. Like, Alex Jones is so fucking lost in the sauce as an individual. It's unfucking real, and I fucking despise him. I think he's literally one of the most diabolical fucking pieces of shit ever. Because before now, I don't think he was owned by anybody. I think he was just fucking psychotic.
That will make sense.
Now for a fact, he's owned because the fucking situation with his fucking with his company getting eminent domained, basically. Yeah, the civil forfeiture shit has been fucking ridiculous with it. But no, he God, fucking I despise him so fucking much.
Okay. Well, I definitely looked up what you said and put in the word conspiracy. I have some results. I'll have to look at that tomorrow and with a fresh set of eyes. But I will be
yeah, it's
investigate.
The fucking Bass Pro Shop pyramid is great.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half into this podcast, and I think we're going to have to end it here with the Alex Jones and Bass Pro Shop conspiracy theory.
It's a good place to end it.
Yeah, it does seem like a good place to end it.
Anyways, bud, I hope you have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Good night. And
See ya, chat.
if anyone out there is watching this thing, like, share, subscribe, and let people know if you want to see more of this, please do that so we can have more.